and land degradation and food insecurity as two sides with the same challenge. Drawing on the YLE Foundation's fieldwork in arid governance, we see that including community work in Siwa region in Egypt on soil salinity, date farm waste and local produce shows that asks that will take us to the next move, and it can be also be proven. It's not just an activity that we do, but we can prove the changes. We can prove that community-rooted restoration models from isolated pilots can be scaled to regional level, and youth and local communities are co-designers and not just beneficiaries. We also see that this panel will take us through the generational, cross-regional pairing, what we can learn from Egyptian and MENA experience with practitioner and youth voices from other dryland regions. Therefore, to test whether the same scaling lessons hold in very different contexts is what we are going to do here this afternoon. Who is in front of us here today? It's me, your moderator, Otaru-Okoedion. Then I have the panelists, and these panelists will take us through the sessions that we are going to hear. We have Farai from Nhekairo, from Zimbabwe. We have Thaiane Michael dos Santos from Brazil, Nadima Rahimli from Azerbaijan. We have Hirotaka Koike from Japan. We have Xiomara Navarro from Colombia, and we have Reem Alzorqan from Jordan. But before they speak on various experiences, I would like to invite none other than the executive director and most importantly the founder of this foundation that is hosting us today, and that is Ahmed Fathy, to give us his opening remarks and to take us through the entire afternoon session. And to do that, I would like you to kindly welcome him with claps. Welcome, Fathy.
Thank you, Ellen. Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be with all of you today. Many colleagues in the room, many colleagues in the panel. And it's something very important to me to see these faces, which are always believing in what we have. First, Ellen, she had another side event in scalable before we came here, but when I called her, we need you to help us in moderation or introduction for this side event. She were very, very helpful. So I thank you, Ellen, and I hope we can clap for him before she left. Secondly, as we see outside, it is raining very, very much. As we see, Dr. Ahmed Fathy, our operation focal point from Egypt, he is sick in his hotel since yesterday because of raining. It is cold. He said he has apologized for not being here today, but he will be connected with us as a CSO in the next few days. And today for me is an important day. It is my first time as Ahmed and as organization to attend the UNCCD COP. We have been attending COP of climate change since COP25. We have attending UNEA since UNEA 0, UNEA 1. We are attending many of International Human Rights Council, High-Level Political Forum, CSW, And I'm always say one word, many people in the room know it. Anyone at a conference all over the world and need access, contact us and we will try to help you with accreditation, with support to be in this meeting. This is one of our mega role as an organization that I will tell us more story about this. When I started the organization 2012 during the revolution of Egypt, and then we started to be in the international level by 2016. I spent a few years that any conference I'd like to go, I send an email for many hundreds of people, and many times never respond came to me. After we get the accreditation from UNEP, then we get accreditation from UNEP for Mediterranean Barcelona Convention, and then we got accreditation from the UNFCCC, and we got accreditation from the ECOSOC as a consultative status, and we get accreditation from UN Biodiversity, we get accreditation also from the Green Climate Fund as an observer. Since that time, we as a YLE organization take a decision that we will never leave anyone behind us. Anyone all over the world has the right to be in the meeting room. Anyone has the right to attend. Blocking the people is not easy. This is a very quick start today about my perspective in this area like Ahmed, and I will go through this meeting. When we are talking about desertification and coming here and seeing it's raining outside, it is something very strange for me. I tell many colleagues, guys, we go to COP of Antalya very early. So I hope the politicals all over the world can see how climate changes are affecting us with heating and with raining. Both of them we can see. If we look to Europe today, there is a fire everywhere. If we look now around us, we will find it is raining. If we look in the MENA region or Middle East, we will find a lot of heat wave, and you can't go in Iraq or Egypt or Kuwait or many countries. You can't go to Egypt in the street because of the sun very close to us. So we came here to UNCCD, try to learn from the others and try to give our experience in negotiation area from many meetings that we are attending. And I will start my questions. It will be like a question panel more than presentation. I'm always prefer that because always when we talk from our heart, it arrives to people's heart. When we are preparing our presentations and reading it, sometimes we couldn't feel what we have. So I will start with my sister Nadima. She is a vice chair and focal point for welfare of citizens in Azerbaijan, and she were a very good host for us during COP29 in Azerbaijan. If anyone have attended, she helped many organizations, especially from Africa. And I'd like to start with you, Nadima, if you can tell us a little about your organization and take us to a journey to Azerbaijan, and take us if you had any policy have helped the people, restoration or work in a smaller scale, and something you act in your organization. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I also welcome all of you and greet all of you on behalf of Azerbaijan Civil Society Organization. As my dear friend introduced me, my name is Nadima Rahimli from Azerbaijan Civil Society Organization. I'm representing here for social welfare of citizens public union, which is about 20 years is registered in Azerbaijan, and we are working in a national and international level, but it's also my first UNCCD COP here, as we just accredited here, and also I will give information about our platform, was a Global South and Job platform we created in Azerbaijan with the participation of the more than 110 countries represented in Azerbaijan. So as you asked me a question about the policy of Azerbaijan, I would like to draw your attention to the policy of Azerbaijan with the civil society organizations. Maybe I'm one of the happy people, like happy civil society organizations that we have in Azerbaijan. Of course, in every country, everywhere, we will have challenges, of course. But here in my country, we have a good policy of the government with civil society organizations. We had a separate organization which is a support to the non-governmental organizations of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Of course, on this regard, we are working in different spheres, in different sectors, as well as in the climate change, environmental issues, soil degradation, and so on. We know that as a people, as a country, which was also, we had the regional conflicts there in our regions, but after it we had a good experience of understanding that without communities being the first level, with the focus level, without the civil societies, governments alone cannot do the best. For having the best results, we should always have the cooperation between the government and the civil society organization, as we have in our example as a country. I will give just a few examples as a policy you mentioned. For example, let's say, of course, Azerbaijan is not such a big country, and also we are not in the first levels of the countries that in the desertification or soil degradation. But of course, we have also dry, arid areas, and we have in some areas, regional areas, which there is a water scarcity and so on. And how we are working here on this level. We have, for example, one example on Azerbaijan behalf, we have created, by the support of Azerbaijan government, it was created a water users association, and which was can be given one of the best examples here as a community-led agricultural development in Azerbaijan, backed by World Bank, supported by the World Bank. Azerbaijan established and trained about 380 community-led water user associations, and after this initiative, it was told that by farmers that about 20% increase was in crop yields due to failure, due to more efficient local water distribution managed entirely by this civic association. Later, we have the state and CSO collaboration in mine-contaminated farmlands. As I previously mentioned, that we were in the conflict area, we were in the war situation, and as we know that the landmines inflict severe, long-lasting damage in the environment and acting as a form of hidden pollution that ruins the soil, water, and surrounding ecosystems for decades. Fortunately, the war is over. We have the policy treaty, but unfortunately, not the landmines maps was handed over by the other side to Azerbaijan. Still, the main part of this land which was liberated there are landmines, and we know all of us know that how landmines affect to the soil, affect to the water. But here also we are trying to somehow cooperate with the government to help our people who are back now to the liberated areas, and to have such a, let's say, cooperative structured framework with the domestic governmental organization. One other example I can tell about, we have inclusive pilot programs for land consolidation with the FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, which teamed up with local community leaders and agricultural college to launch a series of inclusive land consolidation pilot programs. The least, but not last, due to the time constraints, I would also, as I mentioned in the beginning, that we have created Global South NGO platform with the initiative of Azerbaijan civil society organizations, which is my organization is also initiator of it. And last year we created in Azerbaijan. This year we had the first general assembly of this platform. This platform consists of more than 110 civil society organizations which are working in different spheres, and of course the soil degradation, water scarcity is also one of the, there are some organizations that are dealing with it, and our main aim is to share experience with each other, because these issues are common, and of course as a civil society organization to learn, for example, from other countries, from Africa, and or to share our are exposed to Africa or Latin America, Asia, Europe, and so on, it's a good platform between the civil society organizations. So I do believe that we, as I'm representing a civil society organization, we always should stand against any restrictions that's going against us to the civil society organization. As we know that from the first days there were some blockage, there were some restrictions against civil society organizations as an agenda, but as I just gave 3 examples on behalf of Azerbaijan, but we do believe that there are other countries which suffer from these challenges, from the soil challenges, from water challenges. In these countries, the role of civil society organization as a bridge between the government and the local communities are inevitable. So in any case, we should always stand to any attempt which is going to restrict or blockage the civil society organization. And we do believe that in this challenge as a civil society organization to have many good practices, many good results. So in this cooperation also we could achieve a lot more together. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Nadima. And guys, sometime here Global South Initiative, which have been established in Azerbaijan, support some youth and some organization to attend international conferences. So don't feel shy to take your contact after we finish. Sometimes they have a support, and Azerbaijan now is a hub of many meetings going to take place there. So thank you, Nadima, and I welcome you in another question. Now I'm moving to my sister, Xiomara. She is advocating so much for youth, for gender, for disaster. I saw her in Nairobi, I saw her here, I saw her in many countries all over the world. She shining everywhere she is. When I say, guys, I need someone for Latin America, she was the first one, and she is always a sister and always making a very good work on the ground. And I'm feeling so proud in this panel that we have in most places all over the world. We have Africa, we have Asia, we have Europe, we have Latin America, and for sure, not just North America. After they open the agenda for us and allow civil society to be in the meeting room, we will maybe have them with us. So, Sister Xiomara, what made your restoration model convenient enough for local government in Paraguay to adopt it? And tell my colleagues here what you are doing, how you are doing it. Share your knowledge. She is young, but she acts like more than professional. Sister, floor is yours.
Gracias, thank you. My God, that intro. So really happy also to greet many of you, my friends here, and also the new friends I have, here in this COP. Well, my name is Xiomara. I'm the founder and director of Barranquilla +20 Foundation. It's a women-led, a youth-led organization working since 2012 as a movement. Then we became a legal organization in 2017. So also it's been a while. I wanted to let you know 2 things from our experience. One, we are restoring in the Andes area of Colombia, but also we're restoring in the Caribbean area, so it's very different, ecosystems, very different people's knowledge. So first, in the Andes area, we are working with agroecology. Agroecology is often not seen like in the topic of restoration, but we do think agroecology is restoring soil. Some people, they don't believe that, one way to restore ecosystem is doing agroecology, and it's super basic. And it's very fundamental, and it's very tied to a lot of local knowledge, especially from indigenous women, from Afro-descendant women, from rural women who have been securing the food, securing the livelihoods for present and future generations. So through different agroecological orchards, we are restoring soil, we are restoring people's lives, also securing their sovereignty in their food, because also there's a big difference between food security, food sovereignty, and we are definitely achieving the sovereignty of people and impacting in their healthy diets. And for the Caribbean, which is also very excited because it's a different model, we are restoring mangroves. mangroves is being very complicated also to learn from this. There's a lot of like variables that impact in the success of your restoration process, especially when working with marine and coastal ecosystems, like those we work in the wetland of Mallorquín in Barranquilla, the Caribbean coast of Colombia. We have from 3 to 4 different species of mangroves, so it's also a very diverse place. And also we're doing a model of intergenerational work, also bringing young children, youth people to also understand how important is this process. It's not to plant, it's to make them grow. So it's a long-term effort that has a lot of different like different areas of work. Not only the restoration, not only the seedings, the plots, all this, but also the policy and the governance structure. We have been investing in education materials for the schools neighboring, surrounding the wetland. So also, these younger people, they already know how they're contributing for the protection, as well as how this wetland is contributing to their well-being, to their rights, and to the future and the present they want. So also through education, through the restoration, and a lot of policy advocacy, because this wetland also happens to be a Ramsar site. So despite of this, despite of being in the list of wetlands of international importance of the Ramsar Convention, it has a lot of challenges. It hasn't been protected as full, and it's also subject of a lot of pollution and bad policy decisions at the local level. So it's been also, as I say, like a very comprehensive work of tackling different areas. So we secure this not only locally, we don't only work with the people, but we also try to reach those national and global spheres where it's very necessary that we secure that it's not only about protecting or declaring a site as protected area, but also how it's going to really be protected despite the multiple circumstances that face an ecosystem, despite that many decisions don't make peace with nature, so create more issues, create more problems. So just saying that it's not only like a technical or a practicality, like practical restoration, like in the field, but also it has to be comprehensive to shift people's values, people's contributions for the ecosystem well-being, and at the same time investing in more policy, investing in more documents on how mangroves are also a bankable solution. Because this is not only about well intentions, but also how we show that these solutions are really mobilizing the outcomes that we want to see out there. And I'm very excited. We'd love to welcome some of you, of course, to go to Mallorquín and restore and defend this wetland, because unfortunately now part of the solutions for the restoration and for the the conservation of the wetland is to do an eco park, and they build a big eco park that is not addressing the core issues of the degradation of the wetland. So also we as leaders, we have to also denounce those false solutions, right? That in the name of biodiversity, in the name of climate change, in the name of land and marine restoration, they're reducing and constraining the rights of people, and indeed bringing a lot of finance for stuff that are not, as I say, addressing the root causes of the degradation and the social inequalities there. Some of the people living near the wetland are people that have a lot of social issues. The people that have been victims of environmental injustices for many years, they've been living with the pollution, they've been living with the social explosion of being people displaced, being people victims of conflict, and now we are shifting this, and also like providing these livelihoods and providing this economic value that conservation is also an economic sector. Conservation doesn't have to rely on you're conserving, then you have to be poor, you have to live in poverty. No, we are shifting that. Conservation and the people that are restoring ecosystems have to live in dignity, and that's one of the also challenges that we have through this work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is how we can take a local initiative from a local to global. She acted very well. And when we are talking about mangrove, we always think about the ecosystem. When we have a healthy mangrove, we have a healthy ecosystem. And when we take the local community, children, youth to be part of the solution, I think any issue can be solved. And we couldn't leave anyone behind us in this. And now I'm moving to our sister Farai. She is landscape restoration expert, and I had a small question to her after she introduced herself. How do you get conservation and the community livelihoods to support each other instead of competing? Sister, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. My name is Farai from Zimbabwe. My work is around landscape restoration and livelihoods. So from my organization's name, you can hear that the core is wildlife conservation, but I'm saying that I'm the landscape restoration and livelihoods lead, which then brings us back to the question that has been asked to me, to say how do you balance conservation and livelihoods? So livelihoods is a very important aspect when we talk of conservation. So the conservation model that we use in Zimbabwe and with the communities that we support, okay, maybe let me start by letting you know that we support communities that are living in shared spaces, communities that are living alongside wildlife, communities that are living alongside protected areas. These are the people who are sharing spaces, people who are sharing resources, land, water, forage with wildlife. So what does this mean? Conservation cannot thrive without serious consideration for the livelihoods of the people living alongside wildlife. Conservation without community is doomed. The model that we use is community-led. So the local community, the local people that do reside in those areas are the best people to conserve the resources, are the best people to look after the assets, the productive assets that they've always depended on for their lifetime. So what am I saying? Conservation thrives when livelihood thrive. So our mantra is people and wildlife thriving together. When we have wildlife population thriving and the livelihoods are not doing just the same, then we are not fully conserving or effectively conserving. People and wildlife should thrive together. Then we come to a situation where we say that our conservation efforts are being fruitful. So I would want to give an example. Let's look at land, let's look at water. If these assets or livelihood assets are degraded, then the people in that landscape will suffer. They see no reason of conserving. This means that livelihoods and conservation are not competing variables, but they rather support each other. They are interdependent on the success of each other. So when communities lead, conservation initiatives do thrive. So what am I saying? I want to give an example. People should find a reason for conserving. It's very difficult to use the term conservation, and in some cases it's very scary to people. But conserving is stewarding, right? So if the people are the rightful stewards, the people have the heart to steward or to keep or to maintain what they have, then conservation can thrive. If we conserve the rangelands, what does that mean? Maintaining grass cover, soil health, forage. This also should translate into positive pathways for the livelihoods of the people living in that landscape. So what we do is to support communities, reduce the losses of living in shared spaces, and increase the benefits of sharing their landscape with wildlife. I want also to give another example. Let's look at water conservation, the protection of wetlands, as you were saying.